Hello, people. I just want to talk about a few sound bites that you'll hear being verbalized in the news, in the agenda, the world governments, political correctness. And those words are inclusivity, to be included, tolerance, equal outcome, and equity. And it's funny that these leading elements of society, it's all a con, of course, they want to include everything. It doesn't matter how do I put this? To include everything, you have to be tolerant. So you'll have to tolerate all the bullshit, whether it be right-wing conservative bullshit or left-wing liberal bullshit. You'll just have to tolerate it. You'll have to accept it all, everything that's going on outside of you. And you'll be pulled backwards and forwards by your own left or right programming or prejudices, whatever nonsense you've inherited from your culture. And this inclusivity and tolerance, it is on the promise of equal outcome and equity. And it's all external to you. So how do we turn that inwards? Because everything that's outside is a reflection of low consciousness inside. But if you raise your consciousness, then you become upright. If you raise the kundalini, the secretion, and then you see things as they really are. They are trying to force a narrative, and this is a worldwide thing. It's not just limited to your country. Your country is just a mental projection. It simply does not exist in the grand scheme of things. Nature doesn't care any more for England than it does for Germany. God doesn't favour America over Russia. And to believe such a thing is utter nonsense. So they're trying to bring about their version of utopia. And that word was invented by a guy called Aldous Huxley. He wrote some interesting books. And ute and pia, utopia. I can't remember if it's Greek or Latin, it doesn't matter, but ute means nowhere, and pia means place. So utopia means nowhere place. It doesn't exist. It only exists in the minds of people that believe such nonsense. And that's what they're projecting. They're talking about the Great Reset, resetting the financial system and all the rest of it. And they're going to promise peace and security for all. But you can't promise inclusivity. What happens if you have 1,000 people and you get them together and you say, right people, I'm going to include you all, and this is what we're going to do. I'm going to tolerate all of your individual proclivities, and we're all going to have an equal outcome, and there's going to be equity. And then you'll have one individual that says, not interested. No, thank you. What then? That's one person. What about the other 999? Now, for this to work, everybody has to participate. So the 999 are going to look at that one individual and say, oh, come on. We can tolerate you. You can tolerate us. We want to include you, and all the rest of it. And that individual says, no thanks. And then they'll say, why? And that bloke will say, or girl for that matter, will say, no. Just a simple no. Won't explain himself. It will drive them fucking nuts. So then it will be mob rule, and the mob will rule over the individual. So where's the tolerance? Where's the Where's the inclusivity? Where's the equal outcome? Where's the equity? It simply does not exist external to you. It can't. Now let's propose that those 1,000 people all agreed on a particular thing and they all came together like a big herd. That's fine for that particular thing. But let's introduce something else. And again, one individual says, nope. The whole thing falls apart. It does not work. They know this, and because it doesn't work, they'll have to enforce it. And it will be a carrot and stick. They'll offer you everything you've ever wanted. And it will be a really good bribe. It will be really hard to say no. But those people that won't be fooled are the ones that know that you have to tolerate yourself. You have to include your higher self. That's tolerance. That's inclusivity. It's an internal thing. It's not external. Equity of outcome. Well, that's down to the individual and how they respond to simple wisdom. And equity. It's funny because Jesus talks about workers of inequity. And he's talking about the balance of energy in the body. Being low consciousness. Those are the workers of inequity. But those that have raised the energy, those are upright. And those are the individuals that will say, nope. They are the 1 in a million, or 1 in 1,000, if you will. So how do you think that that individual is going to be received by the herd? It certainly won't be tolerant. It won't be inclusivity. It won't be an equal outcome. And there certainly won't be any fucking equity. So you need to understand that that individual, the one that says, nope, he is the new Jew. I'm not talking about those religious morons that talk to a wall. They do, they talk to a wall. The insanity of that. They literally talk to a wall and they stuff little love letters in the cracks. That's what religion does to the human mind. It turns them into morons. Now, so these individuals that say, nope, they will be the new Jew. You will be fucking hated. Have no doubt about it. Because the others would have accepted the offer. Because it will be good. In their eyes it will be good. You'll recognise it as pure fucking evil. And you'll say no. Even if it costs your life. You'll say no. But they'll do it to save their lives. So are you prepared to lose yours? If you've raised the energy, you've got no fear of death. None at all. You'll embrace it. When you raise the energy, your ego dies. It's just an ego death. And because what that means is that you recognize that the story you tell yourself is simply a story. It's no more real or relevant to the universe than a country's borders are, or mankind's stupid fucking laws. And you're simply conscious energy, an individuation of the whole, a hologram, if you want. As above, so below, as within, so without. Made in his image, after his likeness. But that is realised by the individual, not by the masses. Certainly not by religious people. So when the time comes to make that simple choice, you'll make it. I was asked a question. Well, it wasn't a question, but it was a question. It was formalised vocally. And I was asked it at 3:33 a.m. And the question was like, whose side are you on? Who do you stand for? Who are you with? That kind of question. I answered it. That was me being asked, choose. Is it man's way, or the low road, the wide path to destruction, or was it the high road? Now I am those that seek, and they seek in earnest, to the point where they're pulling their fucking hair out with frustration, trying to understand what the fuck is going on. The planet of the fucking apes, the savages, the barbarians, the Babylonians. And those people that seek earnestly, they'll be given answers. And it's a really confusing time. It's dark. But it has to be, because you have to face the fact that you and what you have been doing, irregardless of your intent, but because you were upside down, you were satanic. Society is satanic. 99% of humanity is satanic, and they won't accept this because they refuse to look at their own darkness. Now, when you know that you're at the lower end of the spectrum, or you're on the low road, the wide path to destruction, that's the start of wisdom. Because then you'll go, oh fuck, now I get it, now I can see. And then you'll respond to the simple fucking instructions. And then you raise the energy, you raise the secretion, you become upright. This is why when Jesus cured the blind person, he said, they're all upside down, because their energy's low, they're all upside down. Everything's upside down, back to front, inside out, wrong way round. When you balance the energies in your body, that's equity. It's all inside you. So we've got social justice warriors, political correctness, Black Lives Matter, transgender agenda. The list just goes on. The madness, utter madness. It's insane. And there's no way out of this mess, with the exception of the individual taking responsibility for their life, cleaning their house, and going within themselves to know yourself. Don't follow me. That's fucking worthless. It was Plato that said, an opinion is nothing more than a space between knowledge and ignorance. Because when you've had the experience internalized, there's nothing else to know. Really, there isn't. And then you'll just look at the world and you'll be exasperated by it. The state of human consciousness. It really is. In fact, it's not in the gutter. It is the gutter. It's filthy. And this is why in the Bible it is reflected that God, symbolic of higher consciousness, your own brain, hates workers of iniquity. It keeps them out, doesn't let them in. See, your brain is attached to universal consciousness, but your ego isn't, and it experiences the illusion of separation. But until you get your body and your mind in a state of receptiveness, then you'll be included. And then you, the individual, will be tolerated. And then there will be equal outcome and internal equity. It's that simple. Whatever's outside, invert it. Look inside. They're talking about the Great Reset, whatever. There is a great reset coming, but that isn't it. A satanic consciousness can only copy what already exists. But it copies from the metaphysical realm. It copies from the realm of energy, pure conscious energy. And it doesn't understand any of this. It thinks it's on the great path, but it's not. We have things like artificial intelligence. Well, the artificial intelligence inside you is your ego intellect. The ego, it's not really intelligent on its own. It rides on the back of consciousness. Consciousness is the intelligence that pervades everything. The ego is just a story. That's all it is. It's not intelligent. Consciousness is. What else is going on out there? There's just loads of things. Politics, the left and right divide, the male and the female, the liberal female or feminine left, the conservative masculine right, and they're always arguing with each other. I will put enmity between the male and the female. Internally, that's the intellect, the ego, and the female, the subconscious mind. And in the house, there's a speaker. In America, it's that, what's her name? Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi. And she's the Speaker of the House, and we have one in the UK in Parliament. I'll have to call you that. So, the Speaker of the House is there to maintain the balance between the left. So internally, when you're having that chaos, there's a speaker that appears in the house and restores order. And that order, okay, is higher consciousness, known as Jesus, to rule over and guide the Apostle Paul, the ego intellect, which God hates. Even God, Paul said it. The carnal mind is enmity to God. So whenever you're there, doing your carnal mind thing, God's not there. But when you meditate, you've put the carnal mind away, and he is. That's the way it works. It's that simple. This is not rocket science. You could observe all that stuff out there and keep yourself very, very busy with it, but you have to turn it around and look in. What else are they talking about? Climate change. Yeah, change the climate in your body. Make the environment conducive for life and higher consciousness. Recycling everything. Instead of throwing it away, use it again. Nature does it. Nature recycles everything. Nothing goes to waste. Recycle your consciousness. Recycle your body. Fill it with stem cells. Rebuild the temple. Remember Jesus said, I will tear this temple down and rebuild it in 3 days. And the Pharisees laughed at him. It took us 46 years to build this. 46 years. 46 chromosomes in your DNA. And 3 days to rebuild it. No sign will be given to them except the sign of Jonah. 3 days. The sacred secretion takes 3 days. That's the sign. Come on, people. This is simple. This is simple allegory. You have to lift your mind. You have to get it out of that gutter. That's been created for you. That's the lie. That's the deception. They've told you that you're this and you do that. That's what society's told you. That's what culture has told you. You've got to transcend all that shit. Because you're much more than that. Far greater than that. And to deny yourself that is not wise. There you go. Inclusive, tolerant, equal outcome, equity. Religion has been promising those things for a long time. Religion is just an old form of mind control that's fell apart. The internet is manifested in this reality, and people are getting information from other sources outside of the religious establishment or the social-political establishment. If they're wise, they might get caught up in conspiracy theory and all the other entrapments that are out there. But then you'll recognize that the internet is a manifestation of the internet. As above, so below, as within, so without. The world's a stage, it's a holographic feedback loop. And whatever mankind imagines will manifest, as it says in the book. Whatever they imagine will be possible for them. What on earth will they imagine? Imagination, I mage in magic. It's a kind of magic. Do you really want to be involved in their magic? The lesser Babylonian magic? Like when the Pharaoh's magicians threw down the snake. But Moses threw down his snake and it ate theirs. Symbolic of the Kundalini. A risen, upright Kundalini. Connected. Known. And this is not about opinions. This is about knowledge and experience which begets wisdom. Take care, folks.